There has been a growing trend among people today looking for cost-effective, non-invasive methods to improve the appearance of their skin. Many people are turning away from prescription medications and medical procedures and are instead considering over-the-counter treatments, such as cosmetic products that contain active ingredients that claim to treat a range of undesirable skin conditions, like photoaging, hyperpigmentation, wrinkles, scars, blemishes, and skin inelasticity. We believe that failure to discern fact from fiction related to claims made by popular skincare YouTubers has the potential to cause a lot of harm. Many popular YouTubers acquire donated cosmetics or are there to promote a product, and unfortunately this can often lead to conflicts of interest and the spread of misinformation. To help combat this, the goal of this video is to gather and present a somewhat comprehensive summary of recent published scientific data on retinol, one of the most popular skincare ingredients of our day, so that claims made by popular skincare YouTubers and other brand promoters can be checked and balanced, and people can be more informed about what they're putting on their skin. As long as humanity has existed, there have been claims of magical potions, elixirs of eternal youth, and immortality potions. While such a search has largely been sidelined by science and the laws of physics, people of our day are making claims of anti-aging elixirs. And one that's been sweeping headlines recently is retinol.
Oh, retinol. Retinol. About retinol. 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 Retinol.
Retinol.
Retinol
What are the claims being made about the product?
improves skin texture.
The appearance of hyperpigmentation improves.
The retinoids will help make your skin look smoother.
Helps to decrease the appearance of pores.
Reduced hyperpigmentation, which
It looks younger.
you're getting more plumpness,
It helps to minimize fine lines.
fresher skin, so you're not going to get as wrinkly.
So as we can see, the claims about retinol in popular media are quite extensive for one single ingredient. Is there a way that we can evaluate these claims? Well, we can start by looking for three important things that are often considered when evaluating so-called active or bioactive compounds that can help us look past some of the marketing and become more informed consumers. Question number 1. Can the active ingredient, in this case retinol, even penetrate the skin and be delivered in sufficient concentrations? Question number 2. Are there any peer-reviewed scientific studies that suggest that retinol even works? Question number 3. If studies show that it does work, what are the mechanisms behind its activity? In other words, how does it work? Well, we'll consider all three of these really important questions in due time, but first we need to get some background information out of the way. When people say retinol, what they're really referring to are a class of drugs called retinoids, which are vitamin A derivatives. In other words, molecules that all share a unique chemical backbone, namely the beta-lanone ring in red and an unsaturated isoprenoid side chain in blue, but that differ in one or two functional groups, or these little guys circled in yellow. Retinol is a type of retinoid. It has a lanone ring followed by an isoprenoid side chain, but even though it gets all the attention, it's hardly the most important. Such a title definitely goes to retinoic acid, aka tretinoin. This is because it is the only retinoid in its pure form that your skin can actually utilize and is bioavailable. The other retinoids that are most commonly found in over-the-counter products, namely retinol palmitate, retinol, and retinaldehyde, or retinal, all have to undergo a conversion process to turn into retinoic acid before your skin can make use of it. The process goes in just that order, which also correlates to the retinoid's potency and efficacy. The more steps in the conversion process, the weaker the retinoid generally is. So now we have the background knowledge to tackle our three important questions on whether or not the claims surrounding retinol are true. And we can start by looking at Q1. Can retinol penetrate the skin? The short answer is yes, it can. The long answer has to do with your skin and the structure of retinoids. Your skin is made up of several layers, including the stratum corneum, or the topmost layer, otherwise known as the lipid barrier of the skin. The great thing about this barrier is that it provides the perfect level of permeability for retinoids, as they are lipophilic molecules, allowing them to penetrate this upper layer. But just being lipophilic doesn't necessarily mean that the molecule can actively enter human skin and impact biological processes. So we need some kind of biological marker that we can measure that correlates with retinoid activity, and it just so happens that we do. There's a skin enzyme called cytochrome P450 dependent RA4-hydroxylase, or CP450-Ra, which is a key factor when measuring its absorption. We'll call this enzyme the indicator enzyme from now on. Studies have shown that the activation of this indicator enzyme does become significantly induced by retinoids. So in summary, retinol and other retinoids, due to their lipophilic nature, can bypass the lipid layer, allowing them to enter the skin. And studies have shown our lovely indicator enzyme is also more pronounced when retinoids have been applied to the skin. Therefore, it is safe to say that retinol can, in fact, penetrate the skin and induce biological activity. Which brings us to our second question. Are there any peer-reviewed scientific studies that suggest that retinol even works? Now that we know a bit more about retinol, its chemistry, and different types of retinoid derivatives, are there actually any published scientific trials that corroborate claims made about the drug in popular culture? Well, according to 2 systematic reviews, there is a substantial amount of evidence supporting the efficacy of retinoic acid, or tretinoin, in the treatment of signs of aging, hyperpigmentation, and boosting collagen production. The evidence supporting retinoid-based cosmeceuticals, or over-the-counter products, however, remains relatively sparse. However, according to the systematic review, since retinoids like retinol, retinaldehyde, and retinal all undergo conversion into retinoic acid, the vast amount of studies done on the efficacy of retinoic acid, or tretinoin, suggest that these derivatives commonly found in OTC cosmeceuticals are effective. From our own research and from the systematic reviews, we have chosen to highlight 3 studies dating from 1998 to more recent times that are representative of current research on retinoid derivatives and concentrations commonly found in OTC cosmeceuticals. The first chosen study, dating back to 1998, is a clinical trial comparing the differences between 2 creams, one containing 0.05% retinaldehyde, with the other having 0.05% retinol. In this experiment, 125 patients were studied over 18 weeks, in a randomized and double-blind fashion. This means that patients were randomly categorized to receive the treatment with either retinol or retinaldehyde, but neither the experimenter nor the patients knew which group they were in. The results? Consistent with claims made by popular skincare YouTubers, both retinoids were found to be effective against general signs of aging, with the 0.05% retinaldehyde cream found to significantly improve fine lines and deep wrinkles. The second study, conducted in 2006, was also randomized and double-blind. Here, 36 elderly patients received 0.4% retinol administered to either their right or left arm, up to 3 times a week for 24 weeks. The results? Again, consistent with claims made by popular skincare YouTubers, the arm treated with retinol lotion improved fine wrinkles significantly when compared to the arm left untreated. Our third and final study was conducted in 2009 for 9 months using a double-blind and placebo-controlled study involving 48 volunteers. In this case, the experimental group had a low 0.1% dose of retinol in their cosmetic product, whereas the placebo group had no active ingredient whatsoever. When comparing the results, those that received the active retinol formulation in their product had a significant improvement of wrinkles under their eyes, fine lines, and had a more even skin tone. Again, surprisingly consistent with many of the claims made by popular skincare YouTubers. However, one important element to these 3 studies to consider that is often left out of popular skincare videos discussing retinol is that the patients were receiving retinoid treatments consistently for over 4 months before the effectiveness of the retinoid became at all evident. So the subtle narrative in many popular skincare YouTube videos discussing retinol that highlight the benefits while conveniently leaving out the time frame and commitment required to see results are pushing the idea that OTC retinoids are a miracle cure to aging, which is disingenuous as this is hardly the case. Now that we know that there is evidence supporting the efficacy of retinoic acid and other retinoid derivatives in terms of their anti-aging effects, we can move on to our third and final question. How does retinol and how do other retinoids even work to reduce the signs of aging? According to the most relevant research, there are 3 primary ways in which retinol and retinoids can reverse typical signs of aging. The first is through the reduction of fine lines and wrinkles. In this scenario, retinoids allow the skin to become more permeable by glycosaminoglycan synthesis. Glycosaminoglycans play a large role in cell regeneration of the skin, which then gives rise to collagen synthesis, which acts as a building block for the formation of new, fresh skin. Collagen is formed through the increase in growth factor TGF-beta and procollagen. The second way in which retinol can help aging skin is by reducing hyperpigmentation through accelerating the rate of skin cell turnover. This reduces the contact between melanocytes that produce melanin and keratinocytes, which play a large role in skin repair. Finally, retinoids are useful in promoting smooth skin by once again increasing skin cell turnover. Such cell proliferation is facilitated through the binding of retinoic acid receptors and transcription genes that continue to promote skin cell differentiation and synthesis. Now that we know that there is evidence supporting the efficacy of retinoic acid and other retinoid derivatives in terms of their anti-aging effects, we can feel a little bit better about the hype.